Okay, back on the worst data breach in history. The largest theft of important, detailed information on you. 143 million of you. Equifax got cleaned out. And again, their CEO and chairman, Rick Smith, did a fabulous job on the PR. But there's a lot of stuff that's not right here. One being that if you sign up for the free monitoring that they're offering, you are down in the fine print being required to give up your right to be involved in a class action lawsuit, which I wouldn't have you to do that anyway. So the second thing that has come out is this is from Bloomberg, 3 Equifax senior executives sold sold their own stock, worth $1.8 million in the days after the company discovered a security breach that may have compromised information on 143 million U.S. consumers. The trio had not yet been informed of the incident, the company said late Thursday. The credit report, in other words, they sold stock after it was discovered, but supposedly these guys didn't know it before it was public, because you know what their stock's doing today, right? I mean, it's tanking. And so Credit Reporting Service said earlier in a statement that it discovered the intrusion on July 29th, and regulatory filings show that on August 1st, Chief Financial Officer John Gamble sold shares worth $946,374. And Joseph Lundgren, president of U.S. Information Solutions, exercised options to dispose of $584,000. Now, let me help you with this. The Chief Financial Officer, the CFO of the organization, and the guy in charge of U.S. Information Solutions didn't know that there'd been a data breach. I mean, really? You really? Your CFO doesn't know. He should be fired just for being incompetent. If your CFO doesn't know you've had a data breach, your CFO's an idiot. I mean, you guys are awful. So, yeah, he knew. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I mean, if it was, junior third baseman, second, 15th guy on the bench guy, he might not have known. But the freaking CFO of a publicly traded company has a 143 million data breach. He knows instantaneously. He's one of the first that's informed. He probably knew before the chairman of the board knew. I mean, come on. And if he didn't, it just shows how incompetent you people are. So in either case, you're a joke. You're just a joke. Unbelievable. Now, how does this affect you? This is all that's important other than me trashing Equifax, which I just love doing. But you guys know how bad I hate the FICO score anyway, right? I mean, you know how I hate you being forced in our culture to worship at the altar of the great FICO, and you spend all your money trying to run your score up by borrowing money so that you can borrow more money and all this crap that these people have looped you into. And then on top of that, they, geez, unbelievable. So, I mean, hey, everybody can have a data breach. I mean, Ramsey Solutions could be having a data breach as I speak, and I wouldn't know it until the end of the day. But I would know it, but they would call me at 2 a.m. and wake me up, okay? My guys would not. And we're just a little bitty unsophisticated company compared to this one. So, anyway, what do you do if you're one of the 143 million? The first thing you do is you freeze your credit bureau account. And if you haven't, you need to freeze it. It's going to cost you a little money, but that helps because anyone who, let's say the thieves took your name and applied for a Visa card at Bank of America. Now, Bank of America issues about 8 out of 10 visas without checking credit. So they're going to issue the card unless you're one of the 2 out of 10. If you're one of the 2 out of 10, they check your credit and it's frozen. The card would be denied. The thief would not get to use your identity. So a frozen account does help. It doesn't guarantee, but it does help. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you monitor it. You pull copies of your credit bureau report, all 3 of them, not just Equifax's. You pull them once a year. You should be looking at them once a year anyway. just because. I'm not saying you're trying to run up your credit score. I'm not saying you care about your credit. I'm not saying that. But you just ought to check in on your electronic reputation and make sure that somebody's not screwing around with your stuff, right? So you monitor it. That's just a smart thing to do. That's just good financial planning to start with, okay? You monitor it. You freeze it. You have to unfreeze it to check it and then freeze it back. Cost you $20 or whatever. Just do it, okay? Shut up. Don't wait on Equifax to fix your problem, because obviously they don't have your best interest at heart. Oh, Lord. And then you need to get something like Xander Insurance's identity theft. Now, you guys think I'm turning this into an ad, but there's a reason that I carry identity theft insurance. It's because people freaking steal identity all the time from everybody. I mean, you got Target, you got TJ Maxx, you got the government, you got Yahoo, and now you got Equifax for the third time has been violated. And they get your information. They're going to get your information somewhere. If you haven't had a debit card, or those of you that still use a credit card, shut down due to fraudulent transactions and the algorithm pops up, you're pretty unusual. My debit card was shut down 6 weeks ago. Somebody picked up the number somewhere. Started charging stuff at places that Dave never attends. And so we went, yeah, probably not me at that one, yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. So, yeah, the algorithm caught that, and I wasn't in Mexico. Go figure. Who knew? And so, shut it down. So you're going to get your identity theft stolen. You need something like identity theft protection. Now, remember, if your identity gets stolen, your problem is not that you owe the money. If someone takes my wife's name, which was one of the 143 million that got stolen, and opens an account in her name, I don't owe any money. Sharon doesn't owe any money. You don't owe money when someone steals your stuff, okay? But you have to convince the idiots that opened the account. In my example earlier, the idiot would be Bank of America, right? They issued a credit card without checking credit, which makes them an idiot, okay? But we already knew they were idiots. It's freaking Bank of America, okay? So, you know, they didn't check. So now there's a credit card opened in Sharon Ramsey's name floating around out there, because somebody stole her information from Equifax and opened a Bank of America Visa card. This is an example. It hasn't happened, okay? It's not going to happen. But then the problem is I can call Bank of America and get their fraud victim division on the line, and the first thing I have to do is spend the first 45 minutes of my life convincing these idiots that we didn't actually open the account, and then we just didn't want to pay it, so we're claiming fraud. The first thing they do is accuse you at the fraud victim division of the credit card company of being the thief. And you have to explain to them, look, doofus, we're not paying this. You don't have her signature on file. You don't have her handwriting on file. We're not legally obligated. Well, you have to file a police report. Yep, I will be filing that police report. Well, you're going to have to sign affidavits. Yep, I'll be signing those affidavits. But guess what? If you have something like Xander Insurance's identity theft protection, the good identity theft protection, they don't just do monitoring, they don't just do freezing, they take over the problem, and there's a caseworker that calls Bank of America for us, and Sharon and I won't have to deal with it. And they take care of all this crap. And then it's the 100 hours per account that it takes to clean this crap up that's the problem. It's not that you actually owe money, it's that it's a drain on your productivity and on the very marrow of your bones. And that's what you need to do. So freeze your account, monitor your account yourself, and make sure you've got identity theft protection. And it's not too late to have ID theft protection, because again, the reason this is so serious, the reason I've taken 2 entire segments on this, is the misbehavior by Equifax in their handling of this, the sale of insider trading of stock, number 1, and number 2, the fine print in the agreement you sign that relieves you of the ability to participate in class action lawsuit, pretty underhanded. And I'll guarantee you that's not pointed out to you when it's sent to you. Stuff you get only on the Dave Ramsey Show. But, yeah. But the things you can do are what's important. So you monitor it, you freeze your account, you get identity theft protection, because no one has stolen your identity yet. They just stole your information. It might not ever actually get used. Pray. That's what I pray. I hope it never gets used. I hope there's never a problem for any of you. But that's kind of unlikely, because some Russian mobster somewhere now has your numbers. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.